want you to think about the last time you had to do something that you really just didn't want to do. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me would be taxes. Ew. Being an adult sucks. Did you have to do that you didn't want to do? Really think about that. Like, it could have been something simple. And so with that being said, I kind of want to talk about mental blocks and fears today. So basically what I want to say is kind of give you guys 3 different ways to help overcome these fears and really be able to like remotivate yourself to do what you have to do. And this can be in anything. Like with me, it's with my business, but then also with my gymnasts that I work with, helping them overcome fears in the sport. But then also, like, I have friends in my dance company and just friends in general who it's just natural for me to want to push them and get them over their fears. And then even with myself. So this is something that you can use in anything. It's not just gymnastics, but it's anything. So with that being said, what is a mental block in the first place, right? It's a mixture between fear and pressure. And so using that as an example, when I had to go and do my taxes, I had so much like anxiety kind of towards it that I just couldn't even figure out like, well, what do I have to do first? Right? Like, what's that first step I have to take to get this done? And I know it has to get done, so it's not like I don't want to get it done because I know I'm going to have repercussions, obviously, if I don't get my taxes done, right? But the fact that I have so much anxiety because of, I know what the outcome is going to be if I don't get it done, that I can't think of the first step because I have so much emotion built up. So like, look at that, thinking about your example, look at that as if you are looking out of a window, right? And there's a shade in front of you, yeah? And if you think about it like this, on the other side of the window is the outcome that you want, right? The outcome that you know is coming, whether you want it or not. You know what the outcome is going to be. And it's really hard to see, like, the steps. So say if someone was standing maybe 5 feet on the other side of my window right now, it would be really hard for me to see, like, the in-between moments up until I see them if my shades are, like, halfway closed, right? Or even if they're closed, I can't see them at all, right? So think about it like that. Your fears and your emotions and the anxiety you feel, the pressure you may feel about a situation has a lot to do with if you're able to clearly think about that or not. So with that being said, like, I think it's super important to know how your emotions have an effect on you when it comes to the things that you want to get done. So I'm going to give an example of a gymnast that I work with. She was nervous, and this was Saturday. This was Monday. So I was working with her on Monday, and she was nervous to do a back handspring on the balance beam, and she was scared to put her hands on the beam. So she's just learning the skill, and she was afraid to put her hands down where, there's mats on the side of the beam because she's on a low beam. So if she puts her hands on the side of the beam, nothing's going to happen. It's not like she can do that on the high beam, though. So she wants to get the skill, but she's afraid to get her hands on the beam. So she just comes to me and she's like, Chantel, I don't know. I just can't put my hands on the beam. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't put your hands on the beam? And she's like, I just can't. I don't know. And I'm like, okay, so why couldn't you put your hands on the beam, right? What is it that's stopping you from that? So I would tell you, ask yourself these 3 questions with whatever it is that you're blocking about. I like to call it blocking. Why do you want this? Why do you want this skill? Why do you want to do this task? What's stopping you from achieving this goal or, going for this skill in her case? And then the last question is, how do you fix it? What is it that you have to do to fix it? So with her, she was scared because obviously, she puts her hands on the beam, something goes wrong. She's scared that it was going to hurt, right? And she didn't realize that she was thinking this until I asked her, how? Like, what is it that's stopping you? So, why are you afraid? And so she answered, I'm scared that my wrist will hurt because one time I did it and I put my hands on the beam and my wrist hurt. And so I said, okay, that happened one time, right? She said, yes. I said, okay, so there's a reason why you're hurting yourself when you land that way. So it's kind of like a signal, you know, if you're doing the skill without proper technique, then it's going to hurt. So I had her do a flip-flop for me, and she showed me that I saw that she wasn't, you know, stretching enough. She wasn't stretching her arms back enough for the flip-flop, so that she was landing like this. Obviously, that's going to hurt, all that pressure, you know. So I gave her a new way to do it, and then she did it, and then we used these 3 techniques. So these are the 3 techniques I will use once I answered those questions. And I knew like what it was that's stopping me. I'm afraid of this specifically, you know. These 3 ways are going to help you. So the first one is visualization. So I had her go to the side and see herself doing the skill the correct way. See herself, you know, stretching back with her arms and putting her hands on the beam. So visualization, seeing yourself do it the correct way, but then also kind of thinking about how it feels to do it the correct way as you're doing your visualizations. 2, you, like I say all the time, you are your biggest cheerleader. So you have to be positive about the situation. Okay, for her example, yes, it's scary to put your hands on the beam and it may hurt, but being positive, like, hey, I am strong enough, I am capable, and I got this. Like, saying those internal thoughts to yourself is really going to help you. The last thing I would say is reframing the skill. So think about the skill or whatever it is that you're doing, your task, a different way. So for me with my taxes, I was thinking about it like, I don't know how to do any of this. I don't want to do this. It's hard. I have to do all this stuff leading up to it. I don't even know where to start. Instead of thinking about it like that, it's like, I have control over, this is how I reframed it. I have control, and I'm making a choice to have my own business. I'm making a choice to go out to these gyms that I'm in and working with these girls and helping them get over these fears. That's my choice, and I love what I do. This is a part of what I do. This is the process of what it takes for me to get the things done that I want to do and what I'm passionate about, right? Same thing with her skill. Think about the process. Don't think about, like, if I do this, I'm going to hurt my wrist and it's going to, you know, I might hurt myself. No, you don't want to think about that because that hasn't happened. Reframe how you think about it. Start thinking about, like, how you would feel if you did the skill the right way, or how you would feel after the task is done. You know, that's what's going to help you. Like, if you feel good going into things, then you're going to do good. So I hope you got something from this. And if you like what you heard, head over to my website, www.focusbycs.com. I've just launched a new program that's helping gymnasts to really focus on being their own cheerleader, you know, and planting the seed of confidence and really pushing themselves to be, you know, the best gymnast they can be, because it's ultimately going to help them in life, not just gymnastics. So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in today. Follow me on Instagram, FocusByCS. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.